The bandwidth for this episode of Fat2FitHQ is sponsored by the Firearms Radio Network, firearmsradio.tv.
You want to read the intro?
I don't have it in front of me to read, so...
No, but you should know it by now. Okay. Welcome to the Fat2FitHQ podcast. I'm your host, Carol Salva of the Firearms Radio Network. And along with me is JT this week. In this podcast, we are chronicling our journeys from fat to fit. We talk about pursuing a healthier lifestyle, not only in diet, but in all areas of life. Jack, I'm sorry I messed that all up.
Awesome. It's better you than me, because I would have butchered it. I found myself thinking that my line was going to be something about, we talk to you, about you, whatever.
Well, it feels like forever since I've done a podcast, and I can't remember, and I know it's been a long time since we said how the intro is going to go for me and you because you're going to be on regularly now, right?
Yeah, as often as you want me, or as long as people want to listen, I guess.
We have a tremendous, wonderful feedback when you're on. People love you being on. It's when you in your busy life are available. You're such a jet setter.
I ought to be available, especially if we do them this late. So I'm always available at this time of night.
I know. That's the thing. I'm always petering out at this time, but it's like the kids are finally asleep and I can do it. So this is great. But really, I do feel bad because it's becoming like 2 weeks between podcasts now. But that's just the reality. It's not healthy for me to try to fit in everything. I'm losing sleep and stuff, and I know people don't want that.
No, they don't.
You don't realize it, but I'm trying to get you to be able to do them without me pretty soon.
That would be scary, but we'll see. Maybe someday. Who knows?
Someday. Okay, that would be great. And I heard we might get a guest appearance from Shelley Templin this evening at some point. Is that right?
Yeah, she might stick her head in here. I think she's going to try to do Dallas with us. So she's had 3. We'll talk to her later, but she's had a few knee injections, and we've almost got her numbed up enough to try it. So.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I need to talk to her about this. Okay, I brought these headbands to make you jealous.
Yeah.
And anybody on YouTube, everybody goes to the YouTube channel. It's fat2fithq.com/YouTube. I've had many headbands in my hand, but then Jack one-upped me, and he wore this awesome baseball cap that I've never seen with a Tough Mudder logo.
It was part of the Father's Day package. I got a coffee mug, this hat, and some sort of a lanyard thing that all came in a box that Shelly and the girls gave me for Father's Day. So
all of it Tough Mudder?
Yeah, and what's kind of cool about the hat is not only there's a logo up here where you can see it if you're looking, but then if you turn the hat like this, you can kind of see on the...
Ooh, on the inside of the bill. Dang it.
See?
Dang it.
So, anyway, I won't be wearing that. I won't be wearing it to do the Tough Mudder, but I wear it,
I bet you won't. That thing won't come back.
My white one that I wore in Nashville is no longer white, and it's not recovering.
But you're keeping it as a memento, or what?
I think I'm going to wear it in Dallas. It's tradition now.
Fantastic. I'm wearing it's gross, but I'm wearing the same socks from the first one I did. They've got holes and everything now.
Well, I got those magic same socks that Cynthia got that we both found by doing search, and I'm going to stick with them because they work and no blisters and the whole deal, so they're magic. So I need to figure out what they are, and we can put them in the show notes or something.
Please
but
do.
They're a little pricey, but for socks, but I only have one pair, and I can wear them to they work good wet and all that, so they're good stuff.
Did you say they were knee socks?
No, I didn't get them. They have them that high, but these were ankle high.
I didn't think we were doing costumes, but
not yet.
Because those are good cute with the tutu.
No doubt. What have you been up to?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's at the end of the summer, and for my job, it's extremely busy at the end of the summer. because I do a lot with the teacher trainings and the staff development. We've amazing teachers in our district, so we're always trying to find things that will help them up their game. And so I got to go to some conferences this summer and bring some stuff back, but now it's like really crunch time of, just doing a lot of the actual. We have little conferences within our district where the teachers come and we do the trainings and stuff. And so there's a lot of that, but then I have 3 kiddos that I'm getting ready to go back to school, and that's a huge undertaking as well. And then my master's program is getting tense. It's just
how long is that going to take in total? When are you going to finish up on your master's?
I hate to say it, because what if I don't make it? What if I have to like bail? And I feel like such a no. I'm supposed to graduate in May of this year, and so this school year. So I'm like the kids. We're starting here in August again, and I should finish in May with them. That's
not bad.
No, it's not. If I were on track. There's this whole research project you're supposed to be, doing a little bit at a time. That's supposed to take the whole thing, and I'm not real up on that. So I'm kind of starting to panic. But you know what? It's all gonna get in. It's all gonna get done, and somehow. But I have, I know we're gonna talk about this later, Jeff. Or you and I talked about it offline last week. Like,
right.
I've been working with Jeff Fry of Jeff Fry Nutrition, and I have and have not made progress, and I'll tell you more about that. But basically, he's telling me if you don't start getting some sleep, we're wasting our time. We're spinning our wheels. Like, it's all for naught if you don't get an adequate amount of sleep. And that's so lame.
Well, it's funny you would say that, because that's what's in my coffee. Or it's not coffee. It's a Natural Calm, which I drink every night. So it's a what is it? I need to go get the label, but it's a I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on it. But anyway, it's a drink that I drink every night with hot water, and it's just a supplement that's supposed to kind of calm you down, lower stress, and it's primarily, I want to say it's either calcium citrate, I think it is, but I'll grab the bottle. But I do it every night, and even when I'm on the road. When we were talking about the road trip, I pack the. So if I fall asleep in the middle of the podcast, I started too early.
I think we both might fall asleep in the middle of the podcast. I'm so dead.
Try this. It's natural. I mean, it's guess where it's made.
Is this Rob Wolf stuff you were telling me about?
Well, it's not his. I heard about it from him, but where would you think Natural Calm would come from?
Natural Calm, Austin, Texas.
That would be correct. My
Are
hometown.
You serious?
So it's Austin, Texas.
They're so, what do we call it? Portlandia over there. And I love everyone, listeners in Portland, you guys are the bomb. I mean, no disrespect, but I'm so hooked on that series, Portlandia. It's so funny. Lisa Jarman and I got hooked on it, and it's a lot of there's, because they're more advanced out that way, and all this stuff we're kind of just now getting, in the grass-fed and knowing the name of the animal you're about to eat and all that crazy. They've been doing all that. There's all these episodes that are just so funny about cacao and all kinds of stuff that when I was in Austin a week or two ago again, and it's just a bunch of stuff just like those episodes. But that's, I don't know. I still think it's just a lot of stuff about like the hippie. And, I love the hippie, so I'm trying to be the hippie. I went for a weekend to Austin, okay, because I was at a conference, and I got to spend 2 days extra by myself, and it was like my birthday present, so I went all over Austin. There's all kinds of cool hippie things to do and hang out, but I was in my minivan, and it, like, ruined everything.
I don't think they let you in there without it being, a Prius. You have to drive a Prius to go to Austin.
I walked out of the coolest things to just reality shock, the big gray minivan.
No, if you go to my daughter and her new husband are over there right now on their little mini vacation. They drove down there from Dallas, and she asked me today where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an ice cream place there, grass-fed ice cream,
Oh.
called with all these crazy flavors. It's called Lick, and it's a
Lick.
phenomenal ice cream place, and it's all these real kind of flavors that you would never expect. A lot of herbal stuff and
Really?
not overly sweet, but all the dairy is grass fed.
That's cool.
Walk in.
Yeah, I'm waving because I saw Shelly walk in. I'm gonna have to try Lick. Lick sounds, I don't know, the name makes me uncomfortable.
South Congress, so it's a good spot.
Hi, Shelly. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited because I have a million questions for you. I'll pare it down to like 3 or 4 big ones, though.
Okay.
How are you going to do Tough Mudder if I hear you're getting injections in your knee? What is that about? Tell us.
Well, I've had knee pain forever, and everybody keeps telling me, go get it checked out, go get it checked out. And I guess I had just gotten used to living with it. So
what do you mean? I'm sorry to interrupt. What is forever? Months, weeks, years?
Probably as long as I can remember. It's just something I've always dealt with.
Wow.
I had knee surgery when I was 13.
Oh.
And so it's just gotten progressively worse to the point where, my husband walks a lot. And I can't even go, walk the dogs around the block. I mean, it's just so painful. And I was still riding my bike, but then I was having to come home and ice my knee a lot. And so I went to the doctor. They said, let's do physical therapy. So I did that for 3 weeks, and it actually made it worse.
Oh.
And so I went in, and he said, well, let's do injections. And I said, well, he goes, you may have a meniscus tear. So I said, well, why would we do injections? Let's find out what's going on first. So we did an MRI.
Uh-huh.
And I walked in, and he said, well, the good news is you don't have a meniscus tear. The bad news is you don't have a meniscus.
Oh my gosh, what is a meniscus? Is that the
like the cartilage that so I basically have bone on bone. So
yeah,
apparently,
that kneecap. It's under that, right?
Yeah, there's actually one on this side, and apparently when I was 13, the standard of surgery was if you tore your meniscus, I guess they took it out. So I basically have bone on bone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so I was like, told Jack, see, I do have bad knees. I'm not making
up. You're vindicated.
I am. That's what I felt like. I was vindicated. But so the injections are like a gel or whatever that goes in that knee joint, and they said, last 6 months to a year, and it just gives me that cushion that I'm missing.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's different. I thought it was just like a numbing agent or something.
Well, now, they did give me a cortisone shot with the first injection, and so if in 3 months it hurts again, then it would tell me that the cortisone, which was numbing it, was the that's what that was. But if after that, because that'll last about 3 months.
Okay.
But after that, if it's still not hurting, then that tells them that the gel stuff is working.
Okay, so it doesn't hurt today.
Mm-mm.
How fantastic after all that time.
Yeah. And I haven't really walked, and I haven't started cycling again because it's just really hot.
Yeah, it's Texas. I know. Wow. Okay, so we are sitting around mid-August, just a little bit later, August 18th today, and this walk, you've seen us do it. It's not a run. So it's a very long walk with obstacles, is about, wow, are we just a month and a half out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting nervous. Okay, so I committed, man. I got my ticket. We're in. And so I don't know, Shelly, what do you think? Is it something you think you're gonna do?
I think so. I've been going to the gym and started to do weights.
Wow.
But, I don't say that I didn't walk the whole way with y'all, but I walked a lot with a bum knee, and so.
Yeah, you have a better knee than the last time you did a Tough Mudder.
I did, and the thing is, it's such a team effort, and I saw, I saw people that weren't going to do stuff, and then people said, I'll help you out and do that. I'm not relying on that, but.
Yeah, we are, and we're both looking at Jack.
He's afraid I'm going to turn it into a Puff Mudder, but.
Yeah, a Puff Mudder. You know what? I have no problem splitting up. We've done that before it was a gun runner. When I just did them with my friends, we had done 2 before we did the FRN one. And we would split up. There were some people that were a little more serious than others. I was always with the others. And I had no problem pulling up the rear, sweeping, making sure everybody, because that was fun. To me, it was just fun. And a lot of times we would do a little bit of a jog, and just not try to walk the entire thing. But we did have, at least once, I know for sure, there were a couple of guys that really wanted to challenge themselves, and we were like, go on, we'll catch up later. And so they ran ahead. And so I just have a feeling Jack's going to want to run ahead.
That's fine. That's fine.
I don't care. I'm fine.
I think it depends on how many people we have and what the group looks like. I only know for sure of one person that's like what I would call committed, but we're gonna find out this week when we go to Dallas and talk to my son-in-law again about whether or not he's really committed or he's feeling pressured.
Is this the team right here online? The 3 of us? Is that it?
I know there's a 4th.
We could probably pick up some scragglers, Carol.
Right? Maybe we can find some lost mutters like Elena and some people lost in the woods.
Yeah. A new group, the Lost Mutters.
Yeah.
We need to start recruiting then, because the last time we did a show, we weren't 100% sure. You were sure, Jack, but.
Right. Yeah, we should open it up to anybody who wants to join us. It's October 4th in Dallas, and Carol, I need to talk to you kind of offline a little bit about how to set up the team and all that. I know that I said I would do that, but we don't have anybody that's really expressed a great deal of interest other than just kind of those of us who've started. So whatever you did to set up the team last time, I can go ahead and do that, and then people can join. Do we just want to use gun runners again, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's be the gun runners again. We could even, yeah, I think so. I thought that was fantastic. And unless anybody's opposed to guns, doubtful. I don't know.
This is
well, I mean, listening to us on this network at least. But even there were people on our teams who I don't think they were super pro guns, but they weren't anti-guns. They didn't care either way. But I just thought that was a fun name. And yeah, so it's the 3 of us and your son-in-law, and that's what we do. We set up a team, and people email me at carol@fat2FitHQ.com, and they get the password. And so if you'll set that all up, I'll have the password and everything. And that way, as we get closer, we're about 6 weeks out now. By the time this show comes out, about 5.5 weeks or so out. So definitely people listening out there, just like this is probably the best time because it's so hot. If you're around Texas, if you live anywhere in the South, it's so hot that what you do to train for this, it can only get better in October instead of worse, because it's so hot right now. And that was like the problem Stacy had, was just acclimating herself to the heat and the humidity. And so, it's just a long, long day, but you don't have to kill it out there. You don't have to run. In fact, Angela Neal, I called her out last time when you and I talked, or I think when I did the Rachel Guy show. She lives in Florida, and Lisa Jarman is trying to get a team together, if anybody's interested, in November 8th in Kissimmee, Florida, to do the Tough Mudder there. And I told Angela Neal, you live there, but Angela does want to kill it. She does serious races, and she runs as much as possible. So she said maybe not the whole time, but she wants to get done as fast as possible to get to that beer.
Right.
That's what she says. So, and she is a pretty serious workout mama. So, anyway, I know Lisa has a team going on, and Angela posted in the MyFitnessPal community if anybody is in that area and wants to run with her. She's doing some other race before then. I'm gonna look it up because that's one of the coolest things is people are starting their own groups and inviting people over this community, and that's fantastic because you don't have to be best of friends to hook up one day and start the run together, and spend a few hours. You'll bond, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm wondering about some of the other FRN guys, and I don't listen to all the shows, but I know there's some Dallas area guys
Yep.
that we should call out.
Totally. I put Steve Remy and definitely Steve and Arthur Reed. I put both of their emails in the last show notes for the last 3 shows because I asked people, go in there, click on their email, and tell them they need to do this run with us. There's also Gene who works for the network. I don't know if it's okay to say Gene's name, but I'm going to say it, Gene Caringal. Anyway, he works kind of behind the scenes and stuff, and he lives in Texas. TJ Gaucher from the Firearms Insider, he's right over in Louisiana, not too far from us. We can totally get a team of FRN people together for sure. I wonder what's going on with Aaron's run. He was doing Michigan or Detroit, remember?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
I think he's doing it. And also, I know I said this last time, but Frank Krieger lives in Houston, and I'm going to start giving him a hard time to drive up with me and do this Dallas run. It's going to be a blast.
Well, cool. We'll know more, I think, since we've gone public with asking people to see. We'll see what kind of interest you have, and we'll know better what our head count is if we have to start begging or shaming people into going.
That's right, shaming them. I do want to give Angela a plug. She said that it's on. Of course, I can't find it now. I'll create an account. Okay, wait. It's because I erased it. Anyway. I just finished listening to Florida. Anyone? She does the Savage Race in October. So it's basically a mini Tough Mudder, but it's 6 miles. It's not like a 3-miler, like a 5K, like Warrior Dash. This is 6 miles. 6 miles is a nice number because that's significant with a lot of obstacles. And she likes to really run it, like I said. So if anybody is interested in Florida doing that with her, the Savage Race in October, Angela's trying to build a team for that. And I sent her the link, but she already kind of knew about Spark People has an obstacle runner group of people who just hook up all over the country for stuff like that. So, yeah, these are fun. These are fun things. I have to mention real quick that speaking of obstacle runs, I did have Ben Greenfield on the show, and we had a wonderful conversation about his Obstacle Runner podcast, and I got to ask him a lot of questions and listener questions. It was great. He was gracious. It was wonderful, and he was funny. And after about 30 minutes, I realized I had not been recording. Not funny.
I'm sure he had plenty of time. I'm sure he had plenty of time for you. He's a busy guy.
Do you know how long it took me to get him on Skype? I mean, he had to reschedule like 3 times, and one time I had to reschedule, but really, we started trying at Paleo FX, and finally, it was about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you, it was a beautiful conversation, and he's a beautiful man. Okay, I'm just going to say. It would have been great. It would have been great for everybody to hear it. I was mortified. You should have seen his face. His face is like, you're kidding.
So did you agree to do it again, or did you have to do it again, or what?
Yeah, he's a super awesome guy. He's never going to get that 30 minutes of his life back, though. I feel bad about that because he kept saying, don't worry about it. It was a good conversation. He has no time for this. He has no time for this. Are you kidding?
Did you ask him about going to that Navy SEAL thing that I told you about?
I did, Jack. It was a perfect conversation. I asked your question and everything, and he said yes, that he was doing it. And I can't remember exactly. I didn't take notes because I thought we were recording. But he was doing it, and he said you might be thinking about something else that he'd already done, but he was going to do something where they're basically going to almost kill him or try to break him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. That's the deal that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and I think he just recently went.
He was going to go do it. He hadn't done it yet?
At the time of our conversation, which was around end of July, he had not, but he was getting ready to. He also, you know what, he had one of those fat burner vests on, those cold vests, and he didn't know we were doing video. So, and that's what screwed us up because we were like, yeah, let's do video. And I said, okay, do you care if we're already recording? But I'm not used to Skype now that we do Google Hangouts, so I went to push record, but I turned it off. It was an auto turn on kind of thing.
Right.
Oh, no, rookie mistake. Very bad. But anyway, Ben was very sweet, and he said he could get me back on the calendar in November.
Great. Great.
I hope he means in 2014.
He'll be done by his. He'll be done with his SEAL thing by then, and you can ask him how it went if he's still alive.
It was so bad. I mean, what's worse is that I'm sure I'm such a twit in his eye. And Lisa Jarman was like, "Well, he'll never forget you." I was like, "Not in a good way."
Well, these guys are, all these guys, whether it be him, Abel James, all these guys that are these biohacker types, they're also personal productivity hackers. So I'm sure the 30 minutes was probably even more painful for him than it is most of us.
Jack Templin.
So encouraging, huh?
Yeah. Just kick me while I'm down. Oh, Ben Greenfield, I'm so sorry.
That's good. You got him, and you'll get him back. So you'll have your questions all polished up.
We'll have to see because he totally said absolutely November. Don't worry about it. And then I sent him a quick apology email right after, and he wrote me back, "Don't beat yourself up about it. Let me look at my November calendar. It was a great conversation. Don't worry." And yeah, I haven't heard back from him.
Well, that's good. So how's your Jeff Fry experiment going?
Man, okay, we're doing. Wait, first before we move off of Tough Mudder with Shelly, she's pretty much committing. But Shelly, are you committing to be a participant, but as a backup plan, you'll be a spectator?
I plan on doing it.
Awesome! I shouldn't say that. I should encourage you if you have knee pain and stuff. But has your doctor cleared you to do it? He's like, fine, you're fine to do it?
They don't say.
If you don't ask, they don't say, right?
Yeah.
I guess the fact that I wear that headband around all the time has convinced her.
She needs one. She needs an orange headband. Yeah, absolutely.
When I went with y'all, it was a hard walk. It was a long day.
Y'all did almost the whole thing, following us around.
Well, we didn't exactly stay on just the observer course. We went off, but all that to say that my knee was really hurting then, and so anyway, I don't want Jack to leave me in the dust or in the mud,
Hey, man.
We're a little competitive.
I'll trip him for you. That's going to be a blast. Even if it's just the four of us, it's going to be a blast. But I hope listeners do it with us because we're not, if you're a little more competitive like Angela, just fly over here to Texas. Jack will run it with you and double back for us every once in a while. And seriously, it's fine for any, I've done these with people who are totally elite and people who are just first timers, and we all kind of end up staying together, sort of. But it's a long enough day that even kind of elite people start to slow down after the first couple miles. So just anybody who's interested, yeah, it's October 4th in Dallas. And definitely I've already made plans to come up for at least the day. I don't think I could spend the weekend in Dallas like we did in Nashville, but I can for sure come Friday night and go out like we did and then do it Saturday morning. That would be a blast.
That would be cool. At the very least, the Steves and Reeds and all those guys, maybe they can come Friday night if they don't run.
Right. We can meet those guys. We can do a listener meetup for some of the Firearms Radio Network shows for any of our guys that are in the Dallas area. Let's start working on that. And
Cool.
yeah, and then see if they're up for the challenge to do it with us on Saturday. And then for people who are not as insane, the very next weekend, I'm doing both of these. The very next weekend is the Gritty Goddess in Galveston, Texas. And that is definitely an introductory level run walk. It's for women, and you can email me at carol@fat2fithq.com for the details on that one also. It's a 5K, so that's only 3 miles, and it's very introductory, where if they have a wall, they will have a wall like Tough Mudder, same height, but right next to it they would have a shorter wall. And of course you can walk around anything, and we are walking that one. We have more than one person on our team who is, like, doctors told them they can't run. So we might have a couple of gals that want to run ahead, and that's fine. But we would love it if anybody can come out, any ladies can come out and do that one with us on October 11th. And there's a kid run that our kiddos are doing 1.5 miles that afternoon at 3 o'clock. Same course, but just a portion of it or something like that. But it's the kid team. So everybody, those are we're Las Chicas, and those are Los Chicos and the Chiclets, the little kid team. So yeah, it's gonna be a blast. My kids are pretty excited about it because a lot of these things have like a half mile or 100-yard dash for them, but 1.5 miles is gonna really push them. So that's pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, thanks. We're excited about that. We have a bunch of kids doing it so far, and a lot of our gun runners are doing the Gritty Goddess with us, or at least people y'all might know. Elena Duracell, who is our Lost Mudder, and Carolina Schmidt. She has her profile picture on Facebook as her new baby, with a shirt that says, "My mommy's a tough mudder."
That's awesome.
That's so cute. So she's doing it with her older daughter, and then Maureen Nicholas and Caroline Miner, some other people. Y'all just, any ladies or guys who have kids that want to do it with us, just let us know. And Lisa Jarman again, and Angie McNeil, or I keep saying McNeil, but it's Angie Neal in Florida. They have some runs coming up too in October and November in the Florida area. Okay, wow, that's a lot about mud runs. So Shelly, would you come down if your knee was feeling good and do the Gritty Goddess the next weekend with me?
Yeah. I think we have something that weekend though.
You might be busy. That one's so lovely. When you're done, they give you a glass of wine. It's not like a beer. It's really girly.
That's better. I have friends from here that have done it.
It's fun. It's fun. So encourage your friends. If your friends or anybody, it would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were going to talk about Jeff Fry, nutrition. Yes, I'm loving Jeff, and I talk to him regularly and send him photos of my meals, and he's on MyFitnessPal. Oh, tell Shelly I said thank you. Is she gone?
Yeah, no. Bye.
Oh, bye, Shelly. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Bye. So Jeff is, we had that diet deload week after you and I spoke a few weeks back,
Right.
and the week went okay. It was just, it was what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to listen to my body and see if I could eat just moderation and have carbs every evening and not go overboard and not binge and not feel guilty and all these psychological things I was going to work on. And that worked fine. In fact, the first 4 or 5 days I was surprised I didn't gain a ton of weight. I wasn't eating a ton of food, but it's just the carbs alone, like having real potatoes or rice or something at dinner every night was really freaking me out. So it was a good exercise in mental health. And it was just that Friday and Saturday, which were the end of that week, really Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, my girlfriends came to Galveston with me as like a just celebration of all of our birthdays. And I knew my deload week was ending. And that's what makes me binge. Not, oh, carbs make me binge. It's this window is ending. And I better eat everything I can because it's about to end.
Do you think it's that, or do you think it's the social thing?
Both. We had pina coladas at the pool. I felt so normal, and I just only have those on carb night. And we had, Caroline made some lovely blueberries, and Jeff's instructions were to have this stuff at night. And there I am Saturday morning, kicked back with some blueberry muffins for breakfast. And it's just ridiculous that, by the very last day, the wheels had fallen off and just flying off. So
I think the social thing is what's so hard. It's just whenever you are out with people, and food just seems to be the center of everything. Either that, or people wanting to, have wine or pina coladas or beer or whatever. And it's just really hard. Try as you might, it's just really hard to say no to all the good food. And I think that makes it challenging, to say the least, to be social. And you can't just lock yourself up either. That's not reasonable.
Yeah, and I think it's healthy to indulge. We were talking about Andrea Beeman. She was on the show a while back, and I can link to her because she was fantastic. She healed her thyroid and this goiter that she had. She shrunk it herself with just real foods. She won that Top Chef and had her own show, Fed Up. Anyway, she's amazing. And I remember she was telling me it was around Thanksgiving, and she was saying you should really eat your niece's pie, because I was stressing the pecan pie that I'm going to want to have. But she was talking about all the love in that pie, and, it would be worse not to eat that pie for all these reasons. But I think it's just a slippery slope, man. I'm totally all about Thanksgiving. Let me indulge that one day and enjoy all my old favorites. It's Friday. It's Black Friday that I'm worried about, right? The day, I don't know, the day after I do, it does change my palate, or at least maybe psychologically, I'm not ready to get right back on the wagon all the time.
Well, it's interesting though. I think how food it shows that it's changing though. This week I was in California, and I was with some friends, actually, work associates, and we were in St. Helena, which is in Napa Valley, and one of the appetizers, I think I shot you a picture of it.
Seven.
It was seven different types of bacon, and it was an appetizer, and everything from turkey, from wild boar bacon to all kinds of different flavors. And it was, and the whole menu. I mean, there was 2 different grass-fed steaks on the menu. There was kale. There were all these things. Of course, it was California, and it is Napa, which is kind of known for farm to table and some things like that. But I think that it's becoming a lot more common, I think, when I look at menus than it used to be, for sure. So
Yeah.
7 kinds of bacon is an awesome appetizer.
7 kinds of bacon. When you said that, I was like, Jack's getting so crazy.
That was at a restaurant. So if you saw that picture, if there's a way, I don't know how to embed the photo in the show notes. I actually went to the restaurant name is called Press, and it's in St. Helena, and I went back to look and see. It must have been a special because it's not on the menu that's on their website. It's just.
I do have the picture, and I can totally embed it. I can easily embed it. It looked tasty, man. I knew I wanted to talk to you about it and say, why are you ordering 7 kinds of bacon? I didn't realize it was an appetizer. But
well, not only did we order, but then we convinced the table next to us to order it too. So we were selling the bacon.
That's great. That's great. Spread the love. I had somebody that I don't know very well email me or Facebook message me, and she said this time last year, I came to a PTA meeting, and I remember I mentioned it on the show that I'd gone to a PTA meeting, and I had, I mean, you can't not serve the donuts and muffins and all that.
Right.
They're just always going to do that because it's the cheapest thing, and you've got masses of people. But I did smoothie samples like you would get walking in the mall.
Right.
And I used a recipe off Jonathan Baylor. Really, it was Carrie Brown's strawberry smoothie. I can link to it. It's such a favorite. And there's no banana in it. There's no carby, sugary anything. You make it with an avocado, and that sounds so weird, but that's what makes it creamy. And you have to use frozen strawberries and put a little bit of boiling water on them because that's what makes it all frozen. And it tastes exactly like a strawberry milkshake. It is the most bizarre thing. You put a tiny bit of stevia, and it's just a couple of ingredients, and it's low carb enough. And so I gave people samples, and everybody wanted the recipe. And this woman remembered, like a year later, she's saying she just watched Food Matters,
Right.
and she remembered that smoothie. And so that's the thing. Those people at the table next to you, they might have just, be whatever, laughing, and that's funny, or they just saw grass-fed on the menu. But things start to get embedded, like you said, when you start seeing it out in more places.
Right.
And we should be ambassadors for that. I mean, you don't have to shove it down anybody's throat, but nobody was offended that I gave smoothie samples. They all wanted bigger cups.
Right. I mean, and it doesn't hurt. And I think the real food message, regardless of, we've kind of bounced around here in terms of, the in vogue, whether it be whatever Jonathan Baylor when the calorie myth first came out, or whether it be, some of the other things, whether it's kefir stuff, or whether at the core of everything that we've talked about, it kind of starts with real food, and and I don't think anybody could say that that's some sort of a cult diet thing. I mean,
Yeah.
what's wrong with that? So.
Yeah, it's never that. It's all the macros and the people arguing on the fringe about, how much of what. But it's just like you're saying. Roger Dickerman said that to us. When you start to get a little crazy about it all, just back up. What are the principles here? What are the foundational things? And it's like you're saying, it's real food, move, sleep.
Right, de-stress.
Oh, good night.
So if you think of the four things, and I was talking to a friend of mine this past week about, he was asking me about what I was doing or what I had done, and I was saying, look, all the stuff that we've listened to, read, whatever, it all comes down to four things, which is what you put in your mouth, what kind of exercise you're doing, how much sleep you're getting, and what's your stress like. And I don't pretend to know what the magic formula is for any of those, and I'm not sure how I'm doing on all of them. I think I do 2 of them okay, and then some of the others are more problematic. But I wonder, it seems to me like the 2 that seem to be getting more attention, at least the things that I'm listening to and reading, are that the sleep and stress thing are really big deals, and some people even rank them above the food, especially the sleep stuff that you were talking about.
Yeah, I told you, Jeff. I mean, he's like begging me to just go to sleep. I mean, make sure that I do, because it is such a huge factor. And we kind of shrug that off. And I have started to get more sleep. That's why I'm not putting out as many shows. I'm just trying to cut out other things and just make sure I go to bed by a certain time. Because it's not just you're going to feel run down. The things that you're doing, you're just not going to make a lot of progress, or it's not going to be as efficient, or other things are going to start to fail in the middle of that. But so I did. I started getting more sleep, and that makes him happy. And I am, like I said, I am and I am not making progress. When I say I'm not making progress, my pants to me are still too tight. The ones that I want to fit into, I don't feel that I fit into. I know that I don't fit into them. But you know, when I started with him, we're going on week 6 now. The first 2 weeks I lost 9 pounds, which is crazy. It's a lot of weight. But if you think about that, definitely I think some of that was weight, but also the protocol we were doing, I myself chose a lot of oil as my fats. So there weren't a ton of solid foods in me. So I think that some of that might have been solid food not being in my system as much, because you're dialing back your protein a ton. You're not eating a lot of vegetables, and a lot of my calories coming from oils and things that'll pass through you a little more quickly. So there was that, and also just the fact that it was so ultra low carb that maybe I was letting go of some water weight. So anyway, but 9.5 pounds, that was significant. Oh, and my pants fit great after 2 weeks. But then I stalled. Week 3, I didn't change anything, but we upped my calories. And Jeff's just not concerned about the calories at all. Like he said, you can't, not at all. He says, I'm definitely they're a concern, but they're so low ranking compared to some of my other missteps that's not what he's worried about. He does not think I'm having too many calories, even though to me, I mean, I know it is. I can look at my log. I'm way up 1,700 calories where I was always around 1,000 to 1,200. So immediately, I think that's why I'm not making progress, which doesn't make sense because that was in the first 2 weeks also. But anyway, the 3rd week, I made no progress. So the 4th week, we did the deload week. And then the 5th week, and I gained 6 pounds back. And then I thought it was 4, but by the day I actually stepped on the scale, it was, like I said, after that weekend in Galveston with my girlfriends. So it ended up being 6 pounds. And then we had the next week, we got back to the ultra low carb, but not back to the very beginning. We went back to where I left off, which was a little more protein. And that week, I only lost 2 of the pounds. So I have a net loss of 4 pounds, right? Net loss of 4 pounds. And I'm trying to be happy about this. People in the MyFitnessPal community are telling me, wow, you know, you're learning about yourself, which is true. I'm eating a lot more calories. I mean, I'm eating more food. I'm eating more real food. I'm not doing just coconut oil and pepperoni anymore. You know, there's all these things at play. But Jeff's looking at my log, and he's like, especially this last week, I know he's like, what are you doing? Because last week I was just not strict enough with it toward the end of the week. Toward the end of the week, I had way more protein than I'm supposed to have. I just started throwing in the towel every time I was stressed out. Not like other people do. I wasn't having a bunch of carbs and sugary stuff. I was eating more protein than, like, I'd have just the whole whatever everybody was eating, when I know I should have more fat. What I'm trying to do right now is have most of that meal be fat. So Jeff was like, I'm surprised you didn't gain more weight this week. I was like, what? It's like, it's not the calories, Carol. It's the protein that you're having more than I would like to see if you want to make progress.
I would love to hear. I mean, getting fat macronutrients seems hard to me. I mean, there's only so much avocado, coconut, olives.
Oh man, and that avocado has a lot of carbs in it.
Yeah, it does. I didn't. So I mean, I know I asked you this last time, but outside of just, you know, eating spoonfuls of coconut oil, I mean, where are the legit? I mean, even bacon has got protein in it, right?
Yeah, but you can have some protein. Like this week, somebody tweeted yesterday and asked me. A new tweet friend of mine asked me where I'm trying to keep my macros, and I always try to say, this is this week. This is different than what he had me do last week, and it would be different than what you would do or anybody else would do, because we're going off of how I feel and what's going on with my measurements and all kinds of stuff. But let's say right now what I'm trying to do this week is I'm trying to keep each meal, not an overall day. I mean, yeah, the overall day is important, but I'm trying to look at each meal, and each meal I want to have at least, carbs. Let's start with carbs. That's easy. Under 10 grams. Okay, so under 10 grams of carbs. Then protein is next, and I'm trying to keep that under 20 grams.
Holy
And then,
cow.
well, but an egg is 6. You could have 3 eggs almost, you know? I mean, you could.
Right.
And then, or you could have
Right.
like a chicken breast. I don't remember how much chicken breast is. That might be a little bit over. But like last night, I had a tilapia fillet, and a 4-ounce tilapia fillet is like 18 grams. I think I ended up having 6 ounces, so I went over a little bit. It was like 24, 25 grams. And what I needed though, the hard part is how am I going to get enough fat on top of all of this? If I'm going to have 10 or fewer carbs, any amount of usable carbs and protein, I need to have at least 30 grams of fat. So what that ended up being was tons of butter on that. Like literally, I even tweeted a picture of it because I ordered it from a restaurant and thankfully they had real butter. And Jimmy Moore says in his book that he orders, "Bring me more butter than you've ever brought anyone in your life."
Oh, that's funny.
And you should see my plate. It's just mountains of butter. And I took a picture and I sent it to Jeff and I said, I'm going a little bit over protein here. He's like, not a big deal. I'm looking at your breakfast. It was like 0. Your lunch, very, very low. You can wiggle there a little bit. So it was overall a great day. And really, we're looking overall like over 3 or 4 days. It's just that if I can keep it together for each meal, I know I'm on track. It's not that at one meal is going to kill me. But
How's your hunger during all this?
oh man, I'm telling you, when you eat that much butter, I'm not that hungry. It's just that I look at it and I don't want that much butter. But when I eat it, then I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. That was a super tasty piece of fish, and that was yummy. The broccoli was so much butter on it because I did have broccoli. The broccoli was just not that many carbs, and with all that butter, it was yummy. But it's like it was so rich that you're like, you're done for a while. I have noticed that again. My appetite is not gone, but I can certainly control. I can't control my cravings very well when I don't stick to it. When I have more protein at lunch, I'm just looking for food more quickly. But if I have, I'm taking those fat bombs with me and to work just to make sure, spinach seems to be one of the best vegetables if I'm going to have a vegetable as a vehicle for fat. Spinach has very few carbs, and I don't have a ton of spinach, but it's something to bulk up my meal that doesn't seem to derail me. And I'll have, some of the fattier meats, like I'm still doing like salami or pepperoni or something like that. And then I'll have a couple of fat bombs and I'm good. Until dinner. Sometimes if I have a snack, fat is the best thing, so I might go get another fat bomb. But I haven't been so good about it. Like I said, I've been so stressed. It's a bunch of excuses, but once I start my day and eat wrong at lunch, then that day's shot because I messed it all up and I'm hungry at dinner. I'm too hungry at dinner. One thing he told me to try this week that is super interesting. He's looking at my logs and noticing a pattern that my wheels fall off toward the end of the week. Not really toward the beginning of the week. I'm like, oh, that's because I talk to you a lot on Mondays and Tuesdays. And she said it could be, but it's also maybe physiological. Like you have your carb night and you're good with all those carbs Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but then you deplete it and it's hard for you. You're exhausted and you don't have all that energy. And, you just give it, because I tell him I'm just so tired that I have no time to fight cravings and stuff. I just need to eat something. And so this Wednesday, tomorrow, Tuesday, he thinks it might be better. He wants me to have a serving of carbohydrates at night, like just midway through the week, have like a cup and a half of rice, white rice, and make sure it's an insulin spike. Like don't have it with other fat and other stuff like that.
Right.
And see if that will give me a boost for Thursday, Friday, because I do have more energy today and yesterday for sure after that carb night that I was just dragging on Thursday and Friday, and I'm sure you've depleted your glycogen, right? Is that
Yeah,
it?
I guess. I just wonder how much of it. I'm sure he knows more than I do, but I just know that for me, it goes back to that social conditioning part. That as you approach the weekend, that the weekend's about, turning it loose. I mean, depending on what your perspective is. For some people, it's partying. For us, it's been, we've Friday nights have been Mexican food night from our family since the kids were little. That's where we always went. And so there's chips and salsa and tortillas,
Oh,
all the things, and those things are, and then that's just what you do. So the weekend starts to approach, and that's the way people kind of wind down, cut loose, a little bit, is to have a margarita, whatever.
yeah.
And late in the week, you can. Let me put it this way: if I had carbs on Wednesday, it's probably not going to change how I feel about Friday. You know what I'm saying? Friday's still Friday, right?
I think you're right. I think you're both right. I think we're all right. There's so many variables at play, and that's one of the cool things about this community and everything. And all, man, the MyFitnessPal group are such rock stars. So much cool conversation going on over there in the August challenge. Just all the reflective parts of it, because the more that you kind of tease it out, the better you get to know yourself, and then you recognize the self-sabotage or whatever you're doing. And if the weekend's coming and whatever those reasons are, attack it from more than one front,
Right.
or just
I totally missed the check-in challenge. I checked in the first 2 days. I couldn't figure out how to do it from my phone.
I saw you on there.
I was just like, I think I made it 2 days, and then day 3, I was like, somehow I missed it, and it's just so frustrating when you finally log in and it resets your. At one point in time, I had like 100 and something days in a row, and I don't think I've been over 20 cents. And I'm on it every day, but it doesn't give you credit.
No.
It doesn't give you credit for like when I sync my Fitbit to it. It doesn't give me credit for that. I stopped. I don't know if you've got the new Fitbit app on your phone, but the Fitbit app on your phone now has a function very similar to Runkeeper, where you can just start, like it's got a GPS. When you walk, it tells you how far, it measures the distance, the whole deal.
No, that's very cool.
That's syncing back with MyFitnessPal, but it only syncs the steps. It doesn't say the activity or anything. But I'm tired of like entering things in more than one place, and so I just let it go and let it just go to let it. Plus, I don't like the negative. Like, you remember when you used to say you don't like the negative entries in Fitbit when it self-adjusts?
Yes, it really makes me mad.
Yeah. So I couldn't figure it out. So then I was out like on day 3. That was so frustrating.
And you're so competitive that you just didn't come back to just hang with us.
Oh no, I was like, let's start over.
See you guys in September.
That's right. I'm out.
You're on your own. I was out after about a week. I missed a day, and when I got back, I was like, oh no! And when I got back, somebody posted, I think it was Mark or somebody posted, I guess Carol won't get to be on the podcast with the win.
Yeah.
That was funny. So I guess I won't. But,
so you wouldn't have to be on the podcast.
right? Somebody's going to need to figure this out because I am tired. No, they're so great because people like Angie and other people are checking in even though they know they're not going to win it. And it is so much fun because you're getting to know all these people. I know this sounds silly, but I got all emotional the other day. I know a lot of their real names because a lot of people have handles, but there are many that I don't because I was saving them in my messages, and then MyFitnessPal deletes those messages after a certain amount of time, and I didn't know that. So there are people that I just know their handles. So I started a thread like, hey, why don't we, if you want to, you don't have to, but if anybody wants us to know your real name, post it here. And that way, there's always, like, if you don't want to be X49, blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't check in for a day, and by the time I came back, I know this sounds so silly, but I scrolled through and seeing everybody's profile pic and them saying, oh yeah, well, my name is so-and-so, and oh yeah, my name's this, and I go by whatever. it was the sweetest thing because you feel like you already know these people, and now you know their real name.
Right.
That is just funny.
It is. It's really cool. I mean, it's by the way, you were talking about Carrie Brown. You getting a recipe from Carrie Brown. Did you listen to the they took like a month off and then she came. Are you still listening to Jonathan Baylor's podcast?
If I have time to listen to anybody, I'm catching only Ben Coomber and Rachel Guy and the Caveman Doctor and Roger. If I can. I'm so behind on even those.
Yeah, so there's a four-part series where I guess they ended up taking a month off for some reason. And I don't know if you know the whole story. I didn't know this because you listened to the podcast. The bottom line is she had lost some weight and some size doing the sane diet approach.
Yeah, I did hear that.
But then she stalled, and she's evidently small, but I can't remember the exact numbers, but she either got down to an 8 from where she was or started off as a size 8 and got to 6 or something, but she's historically, like when she was younger, was like a 0 to a 2. And she'd been stalling. She stalled, and she was pretty frustrated, I guess, if you listen to the podcast. And so they took this break, and she comes back a month later. Jonathan Baylor sees her for the first time and can't believe it, and she's a 2 again. And
what?
And she basically, and so they do this 4-part series with her specifically is kind of what happened in the last 30 days. And to make it long story short, the bottom line is she became really serious about all of the elements of the sane diet, like everything from, being real strict on her food to real strict on the eccentric exercises.
Really?
She figured out her sleep. Her sleep was just really messed up. She hadn't slept in years. She couldn't even remember the last time she slept any good. Even went to her doctor about sleep and figured out what was going on there. She's worked on stress. And I haven't listened all the way through it other than she's literally giddy when you hear her on the podcast.
Oh, I love that for Carrie.
And there's like this 4-part deal. So anyway, it's kind of interesting because I know that when everybody was trying that same thing, it's like I remember you saying it makes total sense from the science, it makes total sense, but then it wasn't necessarily working, and I found myself thinking, wasn't that interesting? It wasn't even working for the co-host,
Oh, well, I know for Carrie, you mean, but I think she's probably, if she's getting serious now about it, she was doing the same thing I was doing, and I was trying to be real honest that I read his book. It's all solid. It should totally work. I just am not sticking to it. I mean, I'm doing it. I was doing the diet, but he clearly tells you to limit certain things because you don't know how sensitive you are to certain things. And that's what I wasn't doing. I was like, nuts, that nuts are sane, okay, and I just binge on nuts. And the things that you still should kind of limit, at least until you know yourself if you can tolerate that much of them. And then the exercise, it's interesting. It's so interesting. I'm training with Rachel Guy. Did I tell you that?
Well, I listened to the podcast. Well, yeah, I know you were. You told me that Jeff wasn't really excited about that because it looked like it was too much or something like that.
At first, when I showed him the whole plan, he was like he was just worried that I was going to be, because I'm so, I'm just so all or nothing that I couldn't get any motivation. And as soon as she motivated me, I was like, look at this plan, Jeff, now I'm so glad you're back from an Ancestral Health Symposium because now I'm working out, I'm in the gym again. I mean, my diet that he has me on is not necessarily matched up with that much. Because she has a whole nutrition plan I'm not doing. I'm still working with Jeff. So his whole thing was just let me know what you're doing so that we might need to change things. And then don't be expecting to lose, quote, weight, because if you're building muscle, you really need to look at other measures. And all that makes sense. But anyway, he ended up being totally fine with it when I showed him what I was doing because I'm at the beginner stages of everything. And we did pull back a little bit from what she would normally have me do. But anyway, the thing that's super interesting is every single exercise, like I go to the gym, I've watched 6 videos, I can rewatch them as many times as I want because they are on my phone, of her doing the exercise that she tells you to do. And so day 1 exercises, you go through 3 upper, 3 lower body, and she tells you what rotate, how many times to do each one. And you can watch her. Everything is eccentric. Everything. She does so far. I'm only into week 2. But it's not at all the way that I used to do, I don't know, like squats or whatever. It's not where I would go slow. It's the opposite. Like everything is going very slow on the down. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And fast up. And she calls it 3. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. And that's eccentric. And she calls it eccentric. She goes, but if all else fails, don't worry about that. Just think slow down, fast up. Slow down, fast up. And I just found that very interesting. I even wrote Jonathan about it, that it's so far that's all I've been doing so far into week 2. But man, I'm sore.
So how's that working for you? Can you too early to tell at this point?
Well, I'm sore. I am super sore because she kind of tells you if you've got gas left in the tank, you're not heavy enough. If you can't finish all 12 or 10 or 12, you're a little too heavy. So you have to figure out what you should work at. But you need to, I'm logging everything so the next time I go to the gym, I put a little bit more weight if I can. And if I can't, that's fine because form is more important. But it's so cool because I finally decided to video myself and then watch the 2 videos together. Rachel doing squats, me doing squat. Nope, that looks nothing like Rachel. And I go back and try another set, doing it deeper. What was very cool is she's got a Facebook forum that you get into, and she said, hey, this is the only time I'm going to be able to do squats, so send me your videos. So we sent her videos of ourselves doing squats, and there was a webinar where she talked to me and showed me my squat and told me, look, this is the problem, is that you're, blah, 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 and you don't have enough, I don't have enough glute strength, I don't have enough ankle, and I have to do these mobility exercises and stick with goblet squats until I can get deeper, but I'm not strong enough in other areas to even get deeper yet. So it was super interesting how she just deconstructed my squats completely over the internet, and a couple of other gals in that webinar.
That's really cool. I was thinking, Roger's starting Roger Dickerman's doing what does he call it? Transformation, I think and he's doing something
total transformation.
He's doing something web-based in kind of a new way, starting, I guess, at the beginning of September or something like that. And I've been thinking about doing that, but I just don't know. It's just so hard on the road.
Yeah.
To keep up.
It's very, very interesting, Rachel's thing, because she'll tell you right away, because I gave her a few excuses during the podcast, and Angela had a question that she answered, and she was like, just write me and tell me if you're on the road a couple of days or whatever. I need online training to be better. I need to know what people are struggling with. So, we can tweak it, we can fix it, we can work around whatever your issues are. So I really like that a lot, that she's over the internet, and I'm sure Roger would be the same way. But I just find this fascinating, that I love the guy I'm working with for nutrition, and I love the gal I'm working with for the weight stuff, and neither one of them are in my physical world.
Cool. It's cool.
It is.
It's cool. It's a great time to be doing all this, because you think about all these people that we talk about. Well, you've actually met them because that's how you roll. But for the rest of us, we don't know all these rock stars that you've met in person.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, briefly, and we were just acting like gig groupies.
But it's cool to be able to tap into all these resources that you wouldn't be able to do before.
Yeah.
And she's in Australia. She's in Australia, right?
Yes, she's 15 hours ahead of me. The webinar, and it's cool that she thought of that, because she's got U.S. clients, that it had to be, super early morning here, 5, 6 a.m., because it was 9 p.m., 8:30 p.m. their time. And but there were people tuned in from all over the world, and and she was addressing everybody's questions. Hey, I don't want to forget to thank Sandy Dumont. Speaking of international, she's in British Columbia, she's in Canada, and talk about a loyal listener. She's always on Facebook. She shares everything. She won a Fat2Fit t-shirt from sharing so much, and then she put a picture of herself, and I posted it to the Facebook page.
I saw that.
Wasn't that great? So it was so great. And then look what she sent me. Okay, y'all have to go on YouTube and see this adorable bear. Do you see this wood carving?
That's it.
Sent that all the way from Canada, along with this dream catcher. Look how fantastic that is. So that's so fantastic. I've got my headphones all caught up in it. Look how beautiful. And then, because where she lives, she wrote me this letter of how, there we go, that's how beautiful it is, about how wonderful it is where she lives. She also, I think she sent this for my kid's bike. It's a little license plate with a moose and stuff, and it says Discover Canada on it. Anyway, cool. I had to thank her so much for it, because she wrote me just the most lovely letter that she really enjoys the show, that it's done a lot for her. And then she told me all about where she lives and the 2 mountain ranges on either side of her, and the salmon run that's coming through pretty soon. There's going to be all these salmon and bears you need to watch out for if you're fishing. And it's just pine trees everywhere. And it just,
that's cool.
I know, it was an amazing letter. And she just made my month. I couldn't believe that she would go to the trouble to send that to me. So thank you, that's Sandy. Awesome. Yeah, I just want to thank her. But she's rocking everything up there. She does runs and she eats well, and she seems like just such an inspiration to her friends and everything. So keep it up, Miss Sandy. We love you. All right. So what else, Jack? I do think it's a cool time. That's what made me think of that. It is a very cool time to have some people that you feel really close to, even though they're virtual. It's a virtual closeness.
Right.
But I do. What a magical thing that happened in Nashville when all of us got together and had some common ground. That's common ground we don't usually have with a group of people.
And it's not sketchy.
It was so sketchy. It was sketchy, and you know it. I shared a place with women I do not know at all. Some of the most awesome women in the world, though. I would not trade a minute of it because they were fantastic, and we had a blast. And so we will in Dallas, too. We're going to have a blast in Dallas. I'm not saying I'm rooming with a bunch of strangers, but... You know those paleo things, they all do that. They post to the website, hey, I got a house, who wants in? Oh, my name's Fred, can I? Sure. You know that hippie weekend I spent in Dallas that I told you just a couple weeks ago? I went through Airbnb again, and these great young people right almost downtown. They had the coolest little place. They had their bikes in the room for me because they knew I wanted to get out without the minivan. And they gave me no key. I'm like, where's the key? We don't really believe in keys. I was like, what? They're like, well, we have keys, but we just don't lock anything. Like, I'm going to have to find the key if you really want the key. And I was like, well, I want to lock my room. And they said, well, it's that we have another guest in the back, and she has the key. I'm like, so she has a key to my room. She can come in whenever she wants. I was like, you people, you're young, but, I just need to get out of here. I'm old. I need to go back to Houston to my family. But it was awesome. That house was even awesome. But, yeah, it's just a different mentality, I guess. I don't know if you're more trusting, if you eat paleo. What is it?
I don't know. It's all, but that's awesome, too, though. But yeah, it's a pretty hip place. It's a, I don't think that's bad to be that trusting, but it's a different world than the rest of us live in, I think.
Yeah. I know, that's the shame of it. I think you could probably be like that in some places and not in others, or maybe it's just naive. I don't know.
I don't know.
You just told him, hey, you know what? It's no problem. I'm packing heat for all you guys.
Yeah, I'm usually carrying something at some point in time.
That's what I'm saying.
Not when I'm running out. So
we can be hippies as long as I brought my gun.
Right. I don't need these. I'll just have to stay up all night, though. Guard the door.
Right, right. Especially that I knew not only can I lock my door, somebody has a key that you guys don't know either because it's another guest. That's a key to this room. But anyway, okay, we've gone long now. But thank you, Jack. Thanks for coming back on.
Oh, you're welcome.
We'll be on again in a couple of weeks. I want to do a Gritty Goddess roundtable with the ladies before the October one. David Whitlock from Whitlock Fitness, and that is in the UK. Man, I'm so UK lately. Just Rachel Guy and Ben Coomber and, Drew Delvard that used to be on the show. And, of course, my friend Caroline Miner, who used to be the only British person I knew. So now I'm very intercontinental. David Whitlock's going to be on the show here in the next month or so. But then you and I need to do a before Dallas for real show. So people who want to do the show with us, we're kind of running out of time because that would have to be late September, and that's just a month from now. So make sure, email me at carol@fat2fithq.com, and I will get you the information on how to join us in Dallas. And please do go to the show notes. Today's show notes are at fat2fithq.com/102. This is episode 102. And in there you'll find links on how to connect with us through MyFitnessPal. And I love the friend requests. I have all these friends now, but all of you guys, please go into the show notes and go into the Fat2Fit community, because that is where you will be able to friend a whole bunch of other people who are very like-minded and super cool. So shout out to all of the MyFitnessPal folks over there. And yeah, we've got, I don't know if just because they put their name in that thread, if I can say their names on air, so I'm not going to do that. But there's some very cool stuff. You just have to go read the August Challenge threads. There's the veterans and people who are doing stuff for the wheelchair races. And I bet you anything John won't mind me saying his name because he usually goes by Hammer Jammer. But he's a vet, and he does a lot with like the wheelchair athletes and stuff. It's just so inspiring to follow everybody and everything that they're doing. So just keep it up. You guys are all rock stars and fantastic. Karen, everybody in there, Howie and everybody. Just hello and thanks, because I'm really enjoying checking in. What else, Jack?
That's good.
Okay. Please leave us an iTunes review, people. If you are listening through iTunes, if you can do that, please do leave us a review because it really helps out the show. That's one way you can help us. And yeah, send any feedback to success@fat2fithq.com or to carol@fat2fithq.com. I'll get it either way. Okay, Jack, so we'll be checking in pretty soon. I hope you start training, start walking.
I haven't stopped, but it's not nearly the intensity of last time. So I've got 45 days to figure something out. So
get her step it up. I really need to get out there. All right. Okay. Well, have a great day, Jack. Thanks again. We'll talk soon.
Bye, Carol.
Bye.
Thanks for watching that video, but you should really come over and check out Fat2FitHQ.com. Getting healthy, staying healthy, does not need to be miserable. Sometimes you just need a friend to go along the journey with you. You'll find links to our Facebook page, our MyFitnessPal community, and a lot of ways that you can have company on this journey. Thanks again for watching. Go do something healthy. Bye.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.